Hello, and welcome to Rory's Brainworks, where we get creative and see if it works. Today, we're going to be doing something a little bit different. Do your presents usually look like this?
Actually, these are kind of good ones. Let me get other ones. Boring.
Well then, let me help you spice them up just a little bit by adding a bit of shibari flair with some twine. One will be simple, another will be a little bit exploratory, and the other will be homework rope. I would like to see if you can accomplish it. But first, we must always talk about safe, sane, and consensual safety. Be sure to have some safety shears with you at all times. You can always get a new rope, can't get a new life. And consensual. Me, Marie, and Crochet Rory are all consenting adults. Communication is key. Now, before we take a deep dive into this wonderful present wrapping video, we must first thank my sponsors, me and my new gaming YouTube.
Little town, such a quiet village. Gotcha.
Surprise, motherfucker!
Stupid man thing! You won't live long!
Every day, like the one before. What about in this bathroom? Mark, you taking a poopers? Holy sh**. Oh, okay. You know, sure. I think I found Mark. Little town with some hanging goat heads. A hobbled figure stood in your path. Hee-haw! 'Twas the prospector! Waking up to say bonjour, 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 bonjour. Do 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 do. This place is cursed and I don't care.
So we have our present that we're going to be tying up. We're going to be doing a Hishi Karada to start off with, a diamond dress instead of a dress on a person. It'll be twine on a box. Now to figure out the length of the twine we're going to need, we're going to take the end of the twine and we're going to put it up top here, at the top of the most lengthwise part of the box. And then we're going to wrap around it 4 times. Here's 1, 2, 3, and a 4. Now at that point, we'll hold that spot. Go away, gift. Now that we have that, this is the bite of our twine now, the middle of it. So we're gonna take this side, which leads to the tail, put that away for the time being. And then we gotta find the other end to the tail. So we're gonna pull this up until we find that tail. There we are. And then we're just gonna snip where it's at. Snip, snip. I said snip, snip. There we go. We can pull these tails back. And that'll give us where our bite officially is. Haha! Alright, let's begin. Once I've identified the front of my package, I'm going to take the bite of the twine and pull it back to about right here on the package. And bring the front of the twine forward. And about right here, just after the edge of this box, we're going to put in a overhand knot. That way the knot just sits at the top right there. And what we're gonna do is we'll put another overhand knot about right here, maybe 1 inch to 2 inches down, and we'll probably get 3 to 4 knots in. We got a knot here, not here, not here, so I can put another knot about right here as well. Making sure that all my knots are just about the same distance apart. Yeah, we're looking good. Once we have those knots in that space, we're gonna go around back. And the rest of the twine is just gonna go through the bite of that rope. And then you tighten it down a little bit by using opposing forces. So we came up, went through the bite, and came back down. Let's check the other side to make sure that the knots are still where we want them. They are a little bit not where we want them. So I'm gonna pull those down a little bit, hold those in place while I pull from the back and make sure that stays nice and tight. Now what I'm going to do is then separate the twine And they're gonna go on either side and towards the front. Once they come towards the front, they're gonna go between the knots, starting from below it to forward. They're gonna open those up. Once back around, the twine's just gonna cross over itself and back towards the front. Where we'll go under and over once more. Open that up a little bit. Get a little bit of tightness. Back to the back. Where we'll cross over. Tighten that down a little bit. Back towards the front. We'll go over and then under. Under, then over. Tighten those bad boys just a little bit. Back to the back. And to keep an air of simplicity, always important when wrapping gifts, we're just gonna do those like we're tying a shoe. Cross them over. We'll cross them over again, like a surgeon's knot. Tighten that down. Booyah. You got excess. Snip those boys. There we have ourselves a very sexily wrapped gift. People aren't going to want to open these. Seriously. Alright, move on to the next one, which is a little bit more creative, I suppose. Now for this next one, I utilized the same method to seeing how much twine I wanted to get. I did 3 times around instead of 4, but I'm gonna hold on to my tail. So I'm taking the end of my rope, I'm gonna wrap it around my finger, I'm gonna go over, under, and then through. Waha! Tighten that on the finger a little bit, and with the excess, we'll do the same thing. Over, under, and through. Tighten that down once more. Get it nice and good. Good and tight. Wah! Now we got ourselves a little bite. Oh, he's so cutie, cutie, cute. Moving on. We're kind of going to do the same thing that we did with the Hishi Karada. I'm going to take this bite, and the bite's going to go around towards the back. The rest of the twine is also going to go around the back. And I'm gonna go through that. I assure you, you're gonna get a lot of twine all over yourself. Now, where you want this to go is up to you. Do you want it to be in the middle, right here? Do you want it to be slightly off to the side? Let's do it slightly off to the side for right now. From here on out, it's whatever you want to do. It's exploratory. It's kind of creating a web, and that's what we're gonna do. So I'm gonna pull down and get the opposing pressure tightness. And I'm gonna wrap around this way. And I think one of the bread and butter for these particular types of ties is a crossover hitch or a munter hitch, which are relatively easy to do, and I'll show you one right now. So now that I've crossed over, it's gonna go underneath. Now once it goes under, you can have it be below it or above it, doesn't matter, your preference. I'm gonna pull a little bit, kind of create a bit of tightness, and then it's going to cross over itself, hence the crossover hitch. And then it's gonna go under again. So you can see it came from this way, it went over itself, and then under again. The important part is over itself. That creates a lock. This tension that we pulled from this side is now locked in place. Where do we want to go from here? Anywhere, really. Let's go back around. I'm going to create a half hitch, which is basically half the crossover hitch. So I went over. I'm crossing over myself, but I'm just going to go back this way now. And I'm going to create a crossover hitch here. Why not? You know what? Never mind. I'm just going to pull. I'm just going to pull that way, create a half hitch, go back around. It can be anything I want. I'm the master of this. create another half hitch here. Go back around this way. And I'm going to create a line that's similar to this one. Why not? It's whatever I want it to be. Maybe I want to weave in and out of that real quick. And then I'll create another munter hitch right here. Go back around. Let's create some magic up here, some opposing force. Now one of the things we have right here is opposing tension. I want to go this way, because that's what I thought about. Now this one right here is going under and then over. So if I go under this, that means I can make this my neighbor rope right here. If it went under and over, this one's going to go over and under. It keeps up with aesthetics, but it also keeps up a good amount of tension. We'll move back around towards the front. What do we have here? We're just going to take this part. We're going to create a cow hitch. So we're going to go over it, around, and underneath. But Rory, that looks like a crossover hitch. Correct, but what I'm going to do is I'm going to keep this a loop. Instead of continuing this way, I'm going to follow this. So if we follow backwards, this went over, under, and then over again. So we're going to go over, under, and over again. Now we're going backwards. Keep doing that. Create as much design as you want. You are not limited by anything. At this point in time, we're just creating sexiness. Let me show you my finished product. And there we have my finished product. Didn't have that much more left to go. For right here, I wrapped around this area right here and then created a surgeon's knot, just like we had at the end of the Hishi Karada. There's so much more you can do with webbing. It's so fun and creative and exploratory. Give me 100 boxes and infinite amounts of twine and I'll create some magic, you know? One of my favorite artists is Hajime Kineko, but, you know, that's everyone's favorite as well. It's not original adoration. But you can do so many things, you know? One of the things I didn't do was I didn't cross over corners. I didn't create areas that crossed over corners and just had those lines of twine, those tails of twine that just crossed over a corner with nothing else attached to it. Just this free-floating corner. You can do a lot with webbing. It really helps in teaching flow, and that's very important. Flow helps you figure yourself out. Flow helps you figure out what kind of ties you like to do, and sometimes helps you figure out new ties that you can share with other people. But enough of that. I'm sure you're wondering what the homework rope is. I'll show you. And I have placed the homework rope on a larger box, obviously. As you can tell, I did also add some hardware. However, these are like $2, the steel rings, at any hardware store. They're usually next to the carabiners and whatnot. Just kind of absorb and take in what I did. There's our cow hitches on the middle one. And then those rings are staying up just with cross tension. They're not tied to at all. I'll give you a few hints with the homework rope. I started here. I wrapped 4 times around with twine. Actually, I wrapped around 5, but I only really needed 4. There's a little bit of the back. That's not going to tell you much. Interesting, eh? Slightly less practical to actually give as a gift, but you know what? Still fun. Well, hey! I hope you enjoyed those tutorials as we did at teaching them to you. Yeah, what are you doing here? She does have a heart. Anywho, I would be remiss if we did not bring up my other lovely sponsors for today, the wonderful people over at Patreon. That's patreon.com/Rory's Brainworks, just like this YouTube channel. They are my rope vanguard, my colonizers of dreams. And without them, these ropey endeavors would be way harder to accomplish. Thank you for spending your time with me. Be sure to like this video, subscribe to this madness, and comment down below what kind of ropey things you would like us to show you in the future. As always, I'm Rory. This is our brain. I'm fairly certain it works. Be safe and go create some art.